the Scottish Ensemble comprises of 12 players, so we're smaller than an orchestra, obviously, but we're bigger than a chamber group. We can go from one to the other, that's the beauty of it. We can be a chamber group, but we can also have that feeling of power and expansiveness that an orchestra brings. And it's this constant going between both worlds that I think is really exciting. The other thing I suppose to mention is that we stand when we play, which is quite unusual, and we don't have a conductor. It's very important because it gives it a sort of, again, a much more democratic, non-hierarchical feel.
Would that work?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so juicy that.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably the most distant place we've been is the Outer Hebrides. We go to play at the Proms or the Wigmore or Glasgow, and then we take the same experience from an audience point of view to people who normally don't have access to it. The island of Barra is probably the furthest west we've gone into the Atlantic, and it's great because you have communities there who obviously don't have access to this kind of music making, and you get fantastic support. Of course, there are no traditional music halls, so it's the local village hall, and they come with their kids and their dogs and whatever. The ferries get smaller and smaller as you get further away from the mainland. So occasionally the coach that we're on can't even get on the ferry, so it's just, you know, musicians and instruments, and then get off the other side and sort of walk to the village hall. You want strong personalities. It wouldn't work if you just had, you know, me or whoever was directing it with the way it should go and everyone else sort of following. You want a certain level of interaction, but obviously it's got to keep everything in balance, and if you have somebody who's not quite in the sort of general vibe of the group, it can rock the boat, and then it becomes a little bit disruptive. So it's a very fine balancing act where people feel they can contribute, and then we sort of put it together, and then I suppose ultimately I have to occasionally put my foot down.
So I think that was the best one, whatever you did.
I try and say, look, we'll do it this way tonight in the concert. We'll try it out, and we'll review the situation tomorrow. You know, focus group meeting can start again tomorrow morning, but until then, let's do this thing. And actually, often that irons out disagreements, because ultimately it's only on stage that you can actually really tell what works and what doesn't.
Is that okay? Yeah. Do you want to try it?
Yeah.
I wonder, I know you'd asked us to sustain in that chord, but I wonder if we're a bit too fruity for too long.
Yeah.
In the, when Kathy's getting low.
Okay, 4 before E.
I was sort of sitting on the bus to Inverness a couple of years ago, half asleep, and Tamas Andrash, who's our principal second, almost sort of woke me up. He put headphones from his iPod on my ears to say, check this out. And it was an amazing recording of this Brahms. And he just said, look, we should do this. And within 10 seconds, I knew we had to do it. So, you know, the programming is interesting. You pick up things from friends, recordings, radio. It's a very sort of dynamic process. You want people to react strongly. You don't want people to sort of sit there and think, well, it was all right, you know. You want people to either love it or really disagree with it. So I have had interesting experiences of people coming up to me, you know, right after the concert, and very, very politely, but very firmly saying, you know, didn't really understand what you were doing there. And as I say, I think it's a very positive thing, and it's all to do with the amount of risk that we take as players. You know, if you're going to take risks, at some point you expose yourself to some people not liking what you do, but I'm happy to take that risk.
Yeah, without it. Should we try that? It might be absolutely atrocious, I'm warning you. What do you think? Weak, isn't it?
You have two ways of reacting to risk and anxiety. You can either retreat from it, or you can confront it head on. And almost sort of get a kick out of the adrenaline of the risk taking, and then you find that once you sort of enter into it, it becomes, you get sucked into this kind of sort of energy where you forget about your initial fears or anxieties, and you just have to be in the moment and just perform.